Have you ever found yourself chasing clarity? Begging the universe for a sign? Maybe you've tried everything: affirmations, vision boards, scripting, visualizations, relentless action, and yet nothing moves. It's like screaming into a void that never echoes back. You begin to wonder, is the universe ignoring me? Is there something wrong with me? Or worse, am I just not worthy of what I'm asking for? But what if the real problem isn't that you're not doing enough, but that you're trying too hard? Carl Jung, one of the founding figures of analytical psychology, once said something that seems counterintuitive in a world obsessed with effort: what you resist, persists. And what you force, fractures. According to Jung, true change doesn't start with more action, it starts with surrender. And this video is your invitation into that deeper path. A path not of striving, but of remembering. Not of chasing, but of aligning. Because maybe, just maybe, the very act of trying is the very thing keeping you stuck. In the modern world of self-help, we're constantly told to push. Hustle. Grind. Show up. Stay positive. Take massive action. Manifest, manifest, manifest. But here's the hidden paradox: all that doing often masks a deeper truth, the part of you that believes you are not already enough. You say you want love, but do you feel lovable? You say you want success, but do you feel worthy of ease? You say you want freedom, but your nervous system is still frozen in fear. The external world responds to what you are, not what you say. And Jung warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will rule your life and you will call it fate. So ask yourself, what if all this pushing is not actually moving you forward, but keeping you trapped in the same energetic loop? What if the next level of your life isn't about effort, but about energetic honesty? Imagine this: you're doing all the right things. You journal. You say your mantras. You visualize daily. And yet, beneath the surface, there's tension. A quiet panic. An unspoken fear that says, if I stop doing, everything will fall apart. That fear is what Jung calls resistance. The more you resist uncertainty, the more stuck you feel. But here's the radical shift: what if transformation doesn't require more from you, but less? What if it begins when you do nothing at all? That doesn't mean becoming lazy or giving up, it means stepping into the kind of stillness that allows your nervous system to reset. Your unconscious to reorganize. Your soul to breathe. Because doing nothing, consciously, is not passivity. It's a radical act of trust. A silent signal to the universe that says, I no longer need to chase what is already mine. Let's go deeper. Energetic contradiction is one of the most powerful saboteurs in your life. You say, I want a partner, but carry the wound of abandonment. You say, I want abundance, but flinch at the thought of receiving. Your conscious mind is broadcasting one desire, but your subconscious is playing a completely different song. And the universe, ever precise, ever honest, responds to the music of your energy, not the words of your mouth. That's why sometimes, even when you're doing everything right, nothing manifests. Not because you're doing it wrong, but because your vibration isn't aligned with what you claim to want. Alignment isn't about control. It's not about micromanaging your reality. It's about resonance. Body, mind, and spirit in the same frequency. And that can't be faked. It's felt. It's embodied. And most often, it begins in silence. Here's the truth: many people mistake stillness for stagnation. They panic in the presence of nothingness. No signs. No answers. No sudden breakthroughs. Just silence. But Carl Jung had a name for this, the creative void. It's a space where the old self has died, but the new self has not yet arrived. And it is sacred. It is terrifying. It is where transformation actually begins. Because in that silence, the ego loses its grip. The masks begin to fall. And your deeper self, the one beyond conditioning, fear, and survival, begins to rise. It's not comfortable. It can feel like a death. But it's not the end. It's a reorganization. A dismantling of who you thought you had to be in order to finally become who you truly are. So many of us run from this void. We label it as depression, failure, being lost. But what if those feelings aren't signs that something is wrong, but that something deeper is waking up? In the stillness, the nervous system has a chance to recalibrate. The energy you once used to chase is now free to reorganize itself. You are not being punished. You are being repatterned. And that doesn't happen when you're busy running. It happens when you pause. When you breathe. When you finally let go. This is not spiritual bypassing. This is not pretending things are okay when they're not. This is meeting yourself exactly where you are, with radical honesty and radical compassion. Because only from that place can integration begin. Carl Jung called this process individuation, the journey of becoming whole by integrating all aspects of the self. Your light. Your shadow. Your longing. Your fear. Your brilliance. Your shame. And integration doesn't happen in chaos. It doesn't happen in the noise of constant doing. It happens in the gaps. In the stillness. In the sacred pauses where you allow your being to catch up with your becoming. That's where true healing lives. That's where wholeness returns. Not because you achieved something new, but because you remembered something ancient, that you were never broken to begin with. So what if your job isn't to chase clarity, but to stop running from yourself? What if the very love you seek is not something to be earned, but remembered? You were never meant to hustle your way into wholeness. You were meant to return to it. And this returning doesn't require you to do anything extraordinary. It asks only that you be. That you breathe. That you allow the layers to fall away. And when you do, when you finally stop trying to prove your worth, the universe doesn't reward you. It reflects you. It aligns with you. Because now, you are finally aligned with yourself. The most radical shift you will ever experience is not when life gives you something new. It's when you see yourself clearly enough to receive what has always been yours. Your worth. Your power. Your peace. And that moment, that shift, doesn't come from effort. It comes from remembrance. Remembrance of the self beneath the story. Beneath the trauma. Beneath the cultural conditioning that told you, you are not enough. Because the truth is, and always has been, you are. You always were. And you always will be. You don't need to prove anything to the universe. You are the universe, in motion, in form, in frequency. And what you're truly seeking is not out there, it's in here. In your breath. In your awareness. In the quiet power of your presence. So the next time you feel the urge to strive, to manifest, to fix, pause. Listen. Ask yourself, am I chasing this from wholeness or from lack? Because if it's lack, no amount of effort will bring peace. But if it's wholeness, life has no choice but to reflect your truth. Let go of the timeline. Let go of the pressure. Let go of the narrative that says healing must look like constant action. Your nervous system doesn't need another goal. It needs space, stillness, softness. It needs to know that you are safe, not when everything is perfect, but right now, in this very breath. And from that safety, everything begins to shift. Effortlessly. Organically. Authentically. This is the secret Jung understood: the psyche doesn't respond to force. It responds to presence. And in presence, you don't manifest from desperation, you magnetize from alignment. That is the real power. Not the power to control, but the power to allow. To trust. To receive. And in receiving, you return to the deepest truth of all: you already are what you've been seeking. So if this message resonated with you, don't just nod and scroll away. Anchor it. Live it. Breathe it. Comment below, "I choose alignment." Because that simple affirmation is not just a comment, it's a declaration. A declaration that your healing no longer depends on effort, but on remembrance. That your life is not something to be chased, but something to be embodied. And as you walk through your day, carry this truth: sometimes the most powerful action you can take is to stop altogether. To do nothing, with full presence. And in that sacred stillness, watch what happens. Because the version of you who no longer needs to chase, is the one the universe has been waiting for all along.